Hey everyone, Lance here, and welcome to my review today on the HP3BK over-ear closed headphones by Limitless Creation. Today I wanted to give you my thoughts on these, talk about the sound quality, the comfort. These are actually a nice sounding closed headphone, for the money. These do actually a really nice job. There are a few reasons though you may want to consider something else, in particular with the sound quality. So I'll be talking more about that in just a minute here. Now remember to check below in the description and I'll include any additional information about these headphones such as the specifications and where you can get them at for the best price. So I'll start out with a quick run through of some of the basic features. These are 40 ohm headphones, which means they work great with portable devices. So that would be something like your phone, even a laptop computer. Any of that will work just great powering these. So again, you don't need an amp. These do benefit from an amp, but it's certainly not necessary to still get a good sound out of these. These are pretty flexible headphones. They have a lot of great stretch to them, which is nice. You can see the ear cups do pivot back and forth here. There's just a little bit of side-to-side movement. That does help you to get a more comfortable fit. The ear cups themselves are actually pretty large, so it should accommodate, I think, most ears just fine. Mine do sit comfortably in here without any strain against my ears. And the padding is pretty thick. So again, that does help you to get a nice, comfortable fit with these. Likewise with the headband, there's some decent padding up here. It's not overly plush or luxurious, but again, there's enough there to make sure these are comfortable. And then on the sides, you have a slide adjustment. It works okay. It's not overly fluid or smooth like what you would get with more higher priced headphones, but again, they do a nice enough job. And there's even markings here on the side just to help make sure it lines up correctly with the opposite side. So in terms of actually wearing these, when you have these on, they do a pretty nice job of giving you some good passive noise isolation. I would say not to the same extent as something like the ATH M50s or M50X, but again, they do a nice job, and especially once you turn the music on, they really do block out quite a bit of outside noise. So if that's an important feature for you, I think you'd be pretty happy with how well these perform in that regard. In terms of the comfort, these do have a slight bit of clamping force, not enough to be uncomfortable, but it really helps just make sure these feel like they're on your head. They're not going to slide off. So I mean, even if you wanted to work out with these, you certainly could. If you're doing something like pull-ups or even going for a jog or something like that. Again, they have a nice secure fit. So that would work well in that regard. But overall, I found these pretty comfortable. Again, not as comfortable as some higher end headphones, and that's really just due to the padding here on the ear pads themselves. They just don't have that, like I said, more luxurious, more plush feeling you get as you start to spend more money on headphones. So you can wear these, for a few hours without any comfort problems whatsoever. I found after a few hours, you do start to get a little bit of a hot spot up at the top here, so I might need to adjust them forward or backward just a little bit. But otherwise, again, they're quite comfortable. So for me, if I take a few breaks every now and then, I can wear these all day long, or I'm using them at work, and they work just fine for that. So again, if you want to use them, like let's say in an office environment or at home or at the library, and you're studying all day, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, you could certainly do that with these. And again, with the great passive noise isolation you'll get, you can really focus on the work you're doing, because especially when the music's turned on, it's really hard to hear much of what's going on around you. So in terms of the sound quality, these do a really nice job, especially for budget over-ear headphones in this price range. Now in regards to the bass, that's my favorite part of these headphones. These do a really nice job of giving you a deep bass extension, surprisingly so for headphones in this price range. A lot of times you'll have those lower bass notes rolled off a bit. You just don't hear them reproduced. But with these headphones, you do get to hear those lower bass notes. So it makes gaming more fun, movies more fun, and of course any of the contemporary genres where there's a deep, bass notes being played. Sounds really nice on these headphones. And then regarding the mids and the highs, they sound nice. They definitely sound best when they're on their own. So if you're listening to any vocal or acoustic driven tracks where that's primarily what's being played, these sound best in that type of presentation. When listening to acoustic tracks, as an example, there's a nice bit of intimacy you get with these headphones. The challenge comes when you're listening to an acoustic track where bass, like a bass guitar or some more bass notes start to come into play, that's where it can start to bleed into the mids a bit, and you lose some of that energy and sparkle there in the mids and the highs. Regarding the mids and the highs, these definitely do a decent job. They sound best when they're on their own. So if you're listening to vocal or acoustic driven tracks, sounds really nice. For instance, acoustic tracks really give you a sense of the intimacy that these headphones are capable of producing, which is fun to listen to. Again, especially for a budget closed headphone, it's a bit surprising that these are able to do that. So overall, the mids and the highs, they sound okay, but just not spectacular. For instance, they don't have that same definition you get with something like the Sony MDR7506. But the trade-off is, even though it doesn't have that same detail and definition by comparison, these are much easier to listen to for longer periods of time. When you're listening to something like the Sony 7506, there's great detail, and you'll hear all the flaws in the music. The detail is so good. But that can take away from your enjoyment of your music, especially if you're listening to lower resolution music. They're just not as forgiving. And that's what's nice about these, is they sound really good with higher quality music. So if you're listening to something like even Spotify at the higher resolution setting, it sounds really, really nice. But these also are more forgiving with, say, downloaded music off the internet. And so you can kind of go back and forth, and these will serve both purposes well. Also, because these aren't as detailed in the highs, these aren't as fatiguing sounding. So they don't have, say, the energy and sparkle of the 7506, but you don't have to worry about damaging your hearing quite as much if you like to listen to your music at louder volumes, or you're gaming or watching a movie with these. These will be better for that. Or if you want to use these at work or at home or at the library, and you want to make sure that you can listen to these all day long without giving yourself a headache, again, these would be a better choice in that situation. So the bottom line on these is they're a really great headphone, but it just depends on what you're looking for. So for example, some reasons you might want to consider something else is if you're looking for a more neutral, truly balanced sounding headphone. In that instance, I'd recommend something like the ATH-M40X. It'll give you a more balanced neutral sound across all frequencies. So you're not going to get that mid-bass emphasis. Another example is if you want something that is more detailed and more energetic in the mids and the highs. Again, you don't necessarily need that bass emphasis. That's where the Sony MDR7506 would be a better choice. But if you're looking for a pair of headphones that, more for enjoyment, more for fun, maybe you want something that has good passive noise cancellation, or isolation, so you could use these like in the library or at an office or at home and not hear as much of what's going on around you. You want that kind of blocked out. These will do a nice job of that. Also, they're comfortable enough that you can wear these all day long. Again, you may need to adjust them a few times throughout the day. You may need to give yourself, just a few couple-minute breaks every few hours. But otherwise, these are a good pair of headphones that you can wear all day long. And then finally, from a sound quality standpoint, these certainly do a decent job as being good all-rounders, but they're best for more contemporary music, particularly like electronic or rap, anything that has more of an electronic sound, more of a good bass kind of beat to it. These sound really nice in those genres of music. So in those situations, these headphones would be a great choice, especially considering their price point. They do a better job than most in terms of the quality of sound you're getting. You're getting a bit of an intimate experience. You're getting a little bit more of that detail, especially with the mids and the highs, and you're getting that great sub bass and bass extension in the lows. So hopefully this review is helpful for you. If so, leave a thumbs up. I always appreciate that. And remember to check below in the description, and I'll include, again, any additional information about these headphones, especially where you can get them at for the best price. Also, if you're interested in my headphone deals newsletter, be sure and check the description for that link as well. But otherwise, thanks for your time. I really appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully I'll see you in another video.